Hey guys, before we get into this episode of the podcast, I want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsor for this episode, 5 Panda Publishing. 5 Panda Publishing are an amazing company on Amazon who make high quality coloring books such as this one, the Unicorn Coloring Book for ages 3 and up. So if you're ever in the market for that, go to the link in my description and pick yourself up something. So thank you so much for 5 Panda Publishing for sponsoring this video. Enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome to the Upshot Podcast. The podcast is all about racing. This is a bit of a sad episode, unfortunately, because this is indeed the last episode that you guys will ever see from our wonderful podcast set. This is all gonna go. Yeah, it's all leaving. It's unfortunate. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I am moving. I'm not gonna reveal the location of where we're moving. But yeah, it is sad. It is quite sad, but we're going on to bigger and better things. But don't worry, it doesn't mean I will stop doing the podcast or videos. I will keep doing. I'm not stopping. Don't worry. And I'll be bringing you guys podcast episode from the road. When we're driving, I'll still be doing the race rundowns and qualifying breakdowns that you guys all love. So don't you worry about that. So yeah, it's weird because I wouldn't really call this actually a set, more as miscellaneous car things, like strewn about a background, but it is still very special, because the first set that I ever showed my face to you guys. So yeah, it is very sad, but it is time to go. So for that, but hopefully wherever I go, I can actually build a full-on set. I have a lot of plans. But yeah, enough about that. We're not here to talk about how sad I am. We're here to talk about the French Grand Prix in Le Castellet, and it wasn't that boring of a race, actually, for the first time ever in French Grand Prix history. Well, modern in Le Castellet. It wasn't boring, which is weird to me, because everyone thought it would be boring. Every race so far hasn't been super boring. I think the most boring race was Portimao, to be honest. But even Spain wasn't that boring. It was obviously not as good as Imola or Bahrain, but it was pretty decent. But yeah, it was a very very good race. And here we go. Here is the race order from last to first. Nikita Mazepin finishes dead last, as he always does, followed by Mick Schumacher, he said he had a disappointing race, going from P15 to P19. Nicholas Latifi is in 18th. Kimi Räikkönen in 17th. Charles Leclerc had a horrible race. Both Ferraris had a horrible race. He is down 16th. Antonio Giovinazzi is in 15th. Esteban Ocon is in 14th. Bad race from him. Yuki Tsunoda, very good race from him, going from pit lane to P13. That's a pretty decent result. George Russell has one of his better finishes of this year, up in P12. Carlos Sainz continuing Ferrari's bad race week here, finishing out just outside the points, just behind Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel, the Aston Martin duo, making it into the points. So good job by him. Good job by them. Fernando Alonso gets up into P8 with 4 points. Good job by the wise old head of Fernando Alonso in that Alpine. P7 is Pierre Gasly. Very good race from him in his home Grand Prix. So good job, Pierre Gasly. Daniel Ricciardo has a brilliant race from P10, to P6. Lando Norris P8 to P5. So good job by both the McLaren boys. Valtteri Bottas, as always, gets screwed over by his own team, and he ends up finishing in P4, just outside the podium. And Sergio Perez makes it back-to-back podiums for himself in that Red Bull. He's doing very well for himself. Lewis Hamilton just misses out by almost 3 seconds to Max Verstappen, who ended up winning the Grand Prix. So my driver of the day has to go, the Upshift Award for Driver of the Day, and this is the most special one because it's the last episode here. So Lando Norris brilliant race from him. Absolutely amazing race from him. He had some really good moves here and there. He had a good move, I believe, on Ocon where he went around the outside into the chicane after the DRS straight. So yeah, very not turn 1 and 2, the one afterwards. So very good race from Lando Norris, and he keeps his streak on. He's finished 6 out of 7 times in top 5. The one exception I believe was Spain when he finished in P8. So very good job and very good season from Lando Norris. Very top 10. Very top job from Sir Lando Norris. He's having a brilliant season. He's shown himself, and he's proven a lot of people who are doubting him, and he's doing very well for himself. And Daniel Ricciardo, his teammate, did very well. He was, to me, McLaren duo 1 and 2 for my driver of the day, but I personally think Lando Norris did just a little bit better than Ricciardo. So yeah, and Ricciardo actually got ahead of Lando for a little bit, and then I think either Lando overtook him or they switched into the chicane. I forgot which. But I think actually they switched. They on purposely switched. But I don't know. I don't remember. But very good race by the McLaren duo. So Lando Norris, you got the Upshift Award for Driver of the Day. But let's talk about the man himself who won the Grand Prix, Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen actually lost the lead of the Grand Prix into turn 1 in the first opening lap. He lost the lead where he went wide. That turn 1 and 2 chicane, the first few turns, it was proven tricky for every single driver there. They never really fully got to grips with it. They kind of struggled with understeer. They had a tailwind actually as well, going down into turn 1, so that also did not help. So yeah, it was he struggled in the first opening lap, and he lost the lead to Lewis Hamilton. And everyone thought the race was going to be a 1-stop, but of course it was a 2-stop. And Valtteri Bottas came over the radio and kept saying, "Okay, guys, don't put me on a 1-stop strategy. This is going to be a 2-stop strategy." And he kept saying, "Guys, 2-stop strategy. This is going to be a 2-stop race. Going to be a 2-stop race." And Mercedes decided to completely ignore him, and they didn't do anything. And he was fully had the right to be mad. Fully, he should have been mad, I think. No one was listening to him, and he definitely deserved to be listened to, because it ended up being correct from Valtteri Bottas. So yeah, it's Mercedes, I believe, will hopefully be back on their rhythm very soon. I believe the next race is in Austria. We got a doubleheader in Austria. So that's very cool. And they've proven to be quite quick there. So yeah, we will see next week how they do. Sergio Perez is a guy who kind of flew under the radar throughout the race and was actually dropped by Lewis and Max. And throughout the opening, first 15 laps around there, but he fought back, and since Mercedes screwed over Valtteri Bottas, he slipped into the podium position. So again, back-to-back podiums for Sir Sergio Perez. I keep messing up the names. I don't know why. Sir Sergio Perez. So very good job from him. And I think he was P3 for my driver of the day. Or he was right up there for driver of the day for me. So very good job, Sergio Perez. A guy who, two guys who had very bad weekends were the Ferrari duo. Obviously, they are fighting for the championship, the Constructors' Championship, with McLaren, and McLaren have now pulled away by 16 points on them. So not a weekend Ferrari we're looking for. But here is the Drivers' Championship, obviously starting from last. Nicholas Latifi is somehow losing this to Nikita Mazepin. Don't know how. But Nicholas Latifi's in P20. Nikita Mazepin's in P19. Followed by Mick Schumacher, George Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi, Kimi Räikkönen, Yuki Tsunoda, Lance Stroll, Esteban Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Valtteri Bottas, Lando Norris in P4 with 76 points. That's very good from him. He's less than 10 points away from Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez is actually in P3 with 84 points. Lewis Hamilton is in P2 followed by Max Verstappen, who's in the lead of the championship for the first time in his career. And he took that lead in the Monaco Grand Prix, which is an episode I never did because I was too lazy. But yeah, Max Verstappen is now in the lead of the drivers' standings by 12 points, I believe. Yeah, 12 points. He's in the lead by 12 points. So yeah, that is the drivers' standings. Now moving on to the constructors' standings. Of course, Haas Formula One team is in stone dead last with no points, and followed by Williams, who are also technically in stone dead last with 0 points. Alfa Romeo Racing are in 8th. Alpine are in 7th. Aston Martin is in 6th, followed by AlphaTauri, and then Ferrari, who are having a very good season, but again, this weekend was just not their race. McLaren are up there with 110 points, so good job by them. Mercedes are there in P2 with 178 points, and they're losing to Red Bull Racing, who have 215 points. They're losing approximately by... I can do math. Around about 45 points. Around there. Somewhere around there. I can do math. So yeah, that is the constructors and drivers standings. Again, so very great race from everyone. But yeah, I think that this whole season has been very good. Even the boring races, like this is usually a very boring race. But it actually turned out to be a very good race. So I'm very excited for Austria because that's usually a very good race. So I'm interested to see what that has to hold. And by the way, I just got Valtteri Bottas's team radio to Mercedes at the end of the race. He said, "Why the bleep does no one listen to me when I say that it's going to be a 2-stopper?" Which is true. They just don't seem to listen to Valtteri Bottas, which is sad because he got it right. He got it right, and he could have possibly won. I'm not saying he would have won for sure, but he could have won. And just throw it out there. So yeah, very, very disappointing for Valtteri Bottas, who has had a very disappointing few. Actually, this whole season's kind of been disappointing for Valtteri. So yeah, I think he'll be better very soon. But yeah, that is all the time I believe we have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for enjoying this set. It's very sad to have the last episode here. But again, I will be doing more podcasts on the road, hopefully. Oh yeah, this is it. This is the last time you'll ever see it. Well, not ever. You could rewatch the podcast episodes, obviously. But yeah, this is it. This is gone, unfortunately. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. And wherever we go next, I hope you guys will be along with us. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll be back very soon with Austria. Thank you. Goodbye.